if you wanted to stream on a Core i5 processor, there's quite a few different settings and things you got to take into account in order to give your viewers a decent viewing experience, as well as for you to have a decent gaming experience. So I'm going to hopefully show you through a couple of settings here on Streamlabs OBS that would help assist you in getting that setting correct. And what I'm running on currently is the Core i5 7600K. Yes, it is overclocked to 4.8 gigahertz, but I'm sure the settings will be similar across the frequency ranges, especially on the newer type of Core i5 processors. So the first thing to look at is going through to your output settings, which is over here. Main thing we're going to be looking at the moment is streaming settings. Obviously, if you're going to be recording onto your computer, will be slightly different depending on what you're doing, but the main one here is for the streaming on formats like Twitch, Mixer, or YouTube, things like that. So I have done a bit of testing with going for the H.264 option, which is for the hardware encoding on your graphics card, which is great. It takes the load off your CPU, but the thing is, the quality on that CPU, on that stream, is going to be not as clear as the X264 software encoding. That's just the nature of the type of encoding. Also, you would need to then increase your bitrate up to 6,000 or higher, just to actually get that quality across, but that then has a negative effect on the viewers, what they're actually streaming on or actually viewing on. So the first thing is, okay, obviously because I'm using OBS now to actually record this, now at the moment I can't change this, but make sure that your encoder is on X264, and that means that it's actually going to be using your CPU for encoding. What I found as a good resolution to stream at is at 720p or 1280 by 720. That's what I've got on set on there at the moment. For your rate control, I've got CBR, which is your constant bitrate. And then I've really been playing around with these bitrate settings. So Twitch will, for example, recommending it's between 2000 and 3000 for bitrate for your 720p at 30 FPS. I've gone up to 3000, I've gone even higher than that, I've gone lower than this, and ultimately when it's going over the 3000 mark, it still puts pressure onto your actual CPU. Now the thing is, it's not bandwidth or anything like that. I can go up to 10,000 if I like as a bandwidth for upload, but once again, it's also got an effect on your CPU. So this was kind of the sweet spot that I could find of 2500 was the bitrate. But that could vary for your case depending on your upload speed of your internet, or depending on your actual clock speed of your processor. The other thing is, normally Twitch recommends actually putting the keyframe intervals to 2 for 720p. I've left it on 0, which is auto, and I've actually had a very good experience on that. The other thing to keep in mind now here is your CPU usage preset. I've got it on very fast. I think there's an ultra fast, and I think there's one even higher than that. I can't recall offhand now, but that's really just going to set your quality of the actual image versus how much CPU usage it will be taking. So very fast is kind of that happy medium once again for Core i5. If you're going Core i7 or anything like that, or on the Ryzen chipsets, you might be able to actually bring that down lower, which would theoretically give you a better viewing experience, but take more CPU usage. Under the profile, I've kept it under main, and I haven't touched the tuning or any is separated by space. So that's what I've used here. Under the video, I have got it at 30 FPS. Just so you know, you can try 60 FPS. Once again, I did find that put quite a lot of strain onto my CPU. The other thing is I kept the FPS type as the common FPS values, and then I kept the bicubic downscale filter. At the top, my base canvas is 1080p, but my output scaled resolution is at 720p. Now, a couple of things you also need to keep in mind, and just being realistic, if you're used to gaming without doing any streaming, you might be able to have your games, your AAA titles sitting on ultra or high across the board. And that's what I always had before. Recently playing Far Cry 5, have it all on ultra settings. But the downside of that is now when you're wanting to stream, it's actually going to be using maybe even up to 20% of that CPU going towards the actual encoding for your stream. So keep that in mind. Maybe have some sort of a hardware monitor open, do some tests, and see what settings you're going to have to put that game on, because you might have to bring it down to a high or even medium settings just to be able to run that stream properly. Ultimately, for your viewers, which is the most important people to be looking out for, is going to be more smoothness of play rather than actual high-end quality. Most of the viewers will probably be streaming in 720p, so even if you got everything set on ultra, in 720p you might not be able to really see that fine detail anyways. So rather give them a smooth experience with no juddering than actually having a higher ultra setting for you to view it and actually give them a bad experience. So that's a couple of things that I've got in mind. I'm more than welcome to drop some comments to see what other settings could work, and I can always give them a try. But I'm hoping that, you know, I could help you out with this and get you streaming. That's really what it's all about. If you like, I have got a Twitch channel. You guys can pop in and have a look at that. It's basically Brainormous. I will put the link down below in the description. And I really hope this helped you out. And otherwise, that's it. Have a good one.